Hey everybody. Hey. Welcome to Valentine TV. I'm doing a reaction. My reaction coming from Tisa Tales from the live from the courthouse from the Diddy trial. Um, y'all please hit that subscribe button, like button, and I've also put my cash app for anybody who would like to help and donate to Valentine TV. It would be greatly appreciated. And also, okay, so she is giving us because she said it was getting so tense in there between the prosecution and the defense, and yeah, they trying to give evidence late Diddy side, trying to play that little game. We ain't gonna we'll give you the evidence that we gonna use what might even be during cross-examination. Oh no, that's what the prosecution is saying. So we're gonna see how it all plays out. Okay. Yeah, Cassie's on the stand. So and Tisa's out in the rain. She ran out just to give us this update. Okay, so just bear with us. Okay. All right, here we go, y'all.
Don't know. I am literally live at the Diddy trial. I just left the courtroom. There was such a tense showdown. I had to run out and tell you guys, y'all, what am I talking about? Diddy and the prosecution just went off. They went in on each other, and baby, it was bad. Y'all, let's get into this, okay? First of all, what is going on? There was supposed to be Cassie coming back on the stand to testify. However, the judge got pissed off because he was like, wait a second, because Maureen Comey was on the ones and twos. I will say they need to have her do all of the questioning. The blonde girl is questioning Cassie again. I said yesterday, I felt like her line of questioning left a lot to be desired from a layman's standpoint. A lot of legal experts said that it was a very, very strong it was a very strong witness testimony on Cassie's part, and they thought that technically, legally, the blonde prosecutor did a good job. Hold on, I'm getting to my point, right? But however, you're not speaking to other legal experts. You're speaking to jurors. Jurors are laymen. So what might fly in the court, right? So what might fly in a court of law for legal professionals? Other people are like, layman people are like, yeah, I don't know about that. Anyway, you guys, right? There's the courtroom. Everybody say hi. Anyway, you guys, there was a tense showdown between prosecution and defense. Diddy's defense is playing dirty. They tried to slip something in last minute that was so shocking. Even people in the court were like, oh my God. The judge was getting a little annoyed because the jury was waiting out in the hall and Cassie was going to start to wait out in the hall. However, Penny Garrett goes and then Mark Agnifilo, stood up and started arguing. You guys, it was a showdown. But get this, the judge literally was like, well, I don't know. What are we talking about? It is evidence. Now, listen, they were on a deadline from April 27th. They had to mark all exhibits. Exhibits are things that are going to be entered into evidence. Now, there is a difference between if you show a witness something on the stand to impeach them if they're lying, or if you show them something to refresh the memory. That doesn't need to be admitted into evidence. Only things that need to be entered into evidence are what the jury sees. What the jury sees is when they go and make their decision, jurors just can't go in that room and be like, yeah, I think they're innocent. I think they're guilty. They have to sort through all the evidence that's given, and they have to tell you one by one why they decided, and they have to move to each piece of evidence to be like, when they said A, that's what makes me think they're innocent. When they said B, they just can't come in and say, yeah, guilty, innocent. They have to show their work. That is why what is admitted into evidence is so very, very important, because if it's not admitted in evidence, the jurors can't use that to actually say that this is the reason they came to their legal conclusion. They can't use it to show their work. Also, when things are admitted into evidence, the prosecution or defense need time to actually say, hey, listen, you could be like, objection, it's hearsay. There are federal rules of procedure. There's also federal rules on what can and cannot be entered into evidence, okay? You want to have proper notice. You want to give proper notice, which is why what the defense was doing was so dirty. And I'm surprised Judge Aaron actually went along with it, because to me, it is, hold on, there's like raindrops.
Yeah, y'all. Because they're supposed to gave the prosecution evidence by April 27th so they could go over it. And so they will be ready. So when they cross-examine, they can dare and object or whatever. You know? Man, Mark Agner felt, boy, look, I see him in my eyes, he's darn little crybaby. But yeah, before Cassie gets on that stand, yes, y'all, I hope they got it all right. And I hope that the lady that was objecting on the prosecution side, the one with the stronger voice and get straight to the meat and potatoes, I hope she be the one questioning this time. Because yesterday I heard that one was the blonde head was about to put everybody to sleep. You know what I'm saying? You got to keep the jury into it, right? This is it's not a funny case. This is like the worst, your worst nightmare kind of case, you know. So y'all just be patient while Tisa she's in that rain. I read some of her the little comments people was telling her, get back in the courtroom. Pay attention to your screen because her sound went out for a minute. You know what I'm saying? She ain't know. She trying to give us the report and people are being all rude in the darn comments, but that's to be expected, you know. Anyway, let us hear some more stuff. Come on, Tease. I know. Wait a minute, y'all. Okay, she coming. She coming. Yeah, here she come. Here she come. Here she come. All right. All right. Dang it. Y'all know she's in New York. I'm in North Carolina, so we getting the rain together. And the storm. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Oh my God. What is going? Oh. Jesus. Wait a minute. Y'all. Just a minute, please, 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 please. That darn weather is messing me up.
On my head. There is a legal precedence for that, and I'm surprised that Judge Aaron even went off on doing that and let that happen. So what ended up happening, right? On April 27th, there was a deadline that any exhibits, and exhibits are entered into evidence to give the jury, any of the exhibits would have to, I'm trying to get a good angle, but this rain is hating on me. We are at the live, I snuck out of court to give you guys the tea. I couldn't wait. So defense is saying, so they only gave defense only gave prosecution 4 exhibits. The 4 exhibits are what the defense plans to use to the jury to prove their case. Now, again, 4 is an incredibly small number. So because the prosecution, I'm sorry, the defense yesterday did a last minute, oh my God, we don't want Alex Fine in the courtroom. And I think it was just Diddy showing his manipulation and control. Sorry, y'all, my makeup is whatever. Today, Maureen Comey, who is so good, stood up and was like, Your Honor, the defense is only giving us 4 exhibits. Okay, we keep asking, where's the exhibit or the evidence you're going to use? The defense just keeps saying, oh my God, you know what? We'll give it to you while there is a cross-examination. One, that is a dirty game. How are you literally going to give evidence that we need to actually review to see if it's good, to see if it passes the federal rules of procedure, to see if there's anything technical that can stop it from being admitted? You're going to give it to us while our client is being cross-examined.
Exactly.
So basically, it's legal sabotage. Maureen Comey stood up and said, you guys, we are not, that's the prosecutor. She said, we are not having a trial by ambush. Okay, you can't win a trial by ambush because once something is admitted in evidence, you can't come back and say, oh, no, take it out. You literally only get one chance. Natalie Lee, thank you for joining the Tattletales. Anyway, Maureen Comey stood up and said, absolutely not. And it got so tense. Hold on, let me try to open my umbrella and read all my notes. Thank y'all so much for coming out and supporting. Okay, right? Oh, I also have some notes on who was actually there. I saw Diddy's PR person. She's a woman, long dark hair, very curvy, very beautiful. She was wearing a black and brown curvy dress. Diddy's PR girl, she was there. How do I know? Because I was eavesdropping while she was explaining to the guards that she should be with the family because she works for the family and all this other stuff. Why is that important? Because Monday, and this is why it's so important for me to be on the ground.
Okay.
Monday, she was in the cafeteria and she was having lunch with the producers of TMZ, the
Listen,
Breakfast Club, and the Shade Room producers. Again, Diddy's PR person, and I'm sure they were just talking, was
listen to the names that she said, y'all.
having lunch Monday in the cafeteria. She doesn't know anybody knows this is PR. I just found out by eavesdropping. She was having lunch in the cafeteria with TMZ's producers, Breakfast Club producers, and Shade Room producers. Why is that important? I don't know. Watch for their coverage. This is like what? Now that Cassie's on trial, they're releasing a dumb video of Cassie at Diddy's 58th or 48th birthday, and they're supposed to be looking loved up. Again, I told y'all TMZ was 100% on Diddy's side, and I think we now have proof. But let me get back into this, right? Anyway, they put Diddy's PR person with the family after her explaining to the guards how she should have space because there was limited room in the courtroom. Also, Diddy came in wearing a butter yellow sweater, the color of the season, and a white shirt. There was a juror that submitted a letter saying on June 20th, she has something and she cannot be there. They're thinking that they're still going to keep her on the jury and they'll work around it, but it's unclear. Defense or prosecution might object, and if they do, she'll be out of there and they will put an alternate in.
Right.
All right. So here's the whole thing. Right? Oh, Janice Combs came in. She had on a bad platinum bomb pixie cut. She's actually a really small woman. She looked good. There were a lot of men coming in on Diddy's side today, a lot of guys. Oddly enough, I didn't see the twins, Jesse and Delilah, and also Chance. I have not seen them. Maybe they're coming in later. I also didn't see Misa Hilton Brim. I didn't see Daphne. Actually, I didn't see any of the women on Diddy's side. I guess they heard the coverage and they saw it was a bad look, that they were sitting there looking stone-faced while their father was being accused of the most horrible things.
Yeah, and they noticed that Cassie wasn't even paying them any attention. And if she saw him outside the eye, she didn't care. She didn't care because of what, that they daddy did all that to her.
Things almost as if it wasn't a surprise. All right. Oh, y'all want to fit check? I'm in my legal eagle. Oh, sorry. Y'all can't see. Anyway, I'm wearing a legal eagle dress. Okay. So anyway, so here's the thing. The prosecution was mad because they were saying that the defense did not produce exhibits that is evidence. Again, she got up and she was mad. She was like, yo, we're not doing. She basically said that they're playing dirty. They're trying to have a trial by ambush, right? They said that if you have this evidence you're going to use, you need to use it now, not in the middle of a witness cross-examination. Why is that important? Because when you are on the ones and twos, you need all eyes, right? You need all eyes on your witness on a cross-examination, especially when Cassie's being cross-examination, and they're going to tear her apart. Oh, it's Megan like Reagan. It's Megan like Reagan. Megan like Reagan said, "This is the content I want." Who's looking at who? Yes, exactly. So, anyway, when your witness is being cross-examined, okay, they are under hostile fire. You are supposed to be taking notes, paying attention. You're literally making your legal playlist on demand.
Yeah, because y'all already know after yesterday, they are going to tear Cassie, try to tear Cassie apart. Cassie, please, girl. Do what you do. Hang up in there. You hung with Diddy for 10 darn years. Hang up in there with these people. Show them what you made of. I know you. Lord, let's just pray. Because I'm Cassie all the way. I'm Cassie team. I don't care what nobody say.
Need all eyes on them. For you to give new evidence that I have to see whether it's real, I have to see whether it's admissible, I have to check and make sure it's valid. That is a legal dirty trick. It's one that I think the judge should have actually just shut down and said absolutely not. Like,
Right.
and here's the thing: the prosecution was like, "Listen, if you have this mess, at least give it to us by the morning of. do you know that Tinny Garrigo stood up and was like, Your Honor, we're like they're elves in a shoe. Your Honor, we're working round the clock. Even last night we were up late, and even last night we were up late, and we don't know what we're going to use. So as we find out, we'll let them know. And unfortunately, it actually might be on cross-examination. And I was like, wow, the nerve and the balls of these people to do this. I was waiting for the judge to shut it down. They did not. So Maureen Comey wasn't done. She stood up and was like, Your Honor, no. You know what you're using. At the very least, we are within our rights to say, can you at least give it to us by by lunchtime, right? Because you might have her for cross-examination by lunchtime. It is coming down over here. Can you, I'm just telling you real quick, and I'm going to go back upstairs and take some more notes. She's like, you got to at least give it to us by lunchtime. Then the judge was like, yeah, that, and then Mark Agnifilo gets up and he's like, sorry. They were like, what is it? They said their text message changed. And again, there was a standoff. Mark Agnifilo turned up and was like, listen, we're not the same. The government has the burden of proof. We don't. And this is the evidence they gave us. And also Rule 16, that's what they were arguing, doesn't say we have to give it to you in a certain time frame. So you'll get it when you get it. It was tense, right? Remember how everybody was like, oh my God, the prosecutors and defense get along so well. Baby, this isn't WWE. This isn't like celebrity cage match. Of course they're going to be cordial in the jury selection because you want all the juries to think that you're nice and sunshine. But when it comes down to court, baby, this is big business. And Maureen Comey was going to war. It was big business, and Maureen Comey was going for war. She did not let it go. So Mark Agnifilo got spicy, like, excuse me, Rule 16. And also, he was like, I don't see any precedent in the Second Circuit saying we have to give it to you with any amount of time. The Second Circuit is where the Southern District of New York is. If you don't know anything about court precedents, all court rulings have some type of weight, right? Because judges all like to follow behind each other, right? Sometimes there is a new precedent, but most of the time the new precedent comes from the Supreme Court, right? So judges have to follow behind each other. Oh, Venus Lightning, thank you so much for the super chat, you guys. I'm out here working. Thank you so much for the super chat. Yes, I'm independent media. I paid for this whole trip myself. I really appreciate you guys' fan funding if I didn't tell you. So anyway, right? So when it gets into like precedents, when it comes to the Second Circuit and when it gets to precedents, you want as much precedent. So the closer to home it is, if you can say somebody in your circuit actually did something, then judges tend to let that weigh into the decision. Like, oh, okay, so Bob down the corner did it. All right, so maybe it's cool. However, as you get further and further and further out of your circuit, the precedent starts to decline. For instance, something that went down in Arkansas, right, really wouldn't have that much effect on what went down in New York, unless it was like a constitutional issue. But you can still use it. It might, right? So, Mark, thank you to Dream Doses for the super chat. Also, I want to thank Jackie Gomez for the super chat. Also, really quick, Carla R., thank you for the super chat. So, Mark Agnifilo was basically like, there's no precedent in the Second Circuit. We don't owe you nothing. Now, there might be something that we do later on, but there is nothing going on in the Second Circuit, right? And he thought he could like shut that shit down. And I was just like, hey. First of all, Mark Agnifilo, you've been caught lying to this court, in my opinion, misrepresenting the truth quite a few times. So, Maureen Comey, that's the prosecutor. I would check that if it were you. That's what I was thinking. Maureen Comey was all on it. Before Mike even sat down, she popped up and was like, Your Honor, I'm gonna have to check that because I don't know about that. Let me read the thing. So then the judge was like, well, Mark Agnifilo will be happy to share the footage with you. No, the precedent cases. Mm-hmm. And Maureen Comey smirked and was like, Your Honor, I can do the research. Don't worry, I'll get to the bottom of it because you can't believe a word Mark Agnifilo said. Anyway, hold on. I have more notes, you guys. Also, Maureen Comey was like, listen, I'm not asking if you want to impeach a witness. I explained what that is before. That's if you want to basically catch them perjuring or changing their story. I'm not saying if you just want, because impeach only the witness sees this. And I'm not saying if you want to do like recollections of it, right? I'm not saying that if you want to do recollections. I'm not saying that is an issue. But I am saying that if it goes into that jury pool and if it's going to count, oh, no. You're going to have to do something different. Kalila said, keep doing the Lord's work, Tisa. We appreciate you. Oh, thank you, guys. So anyway, right? This was tense. Again, I know y'all think I'll be putting 20 on 10, and I do. but it was tense.
Right.
But I loved it because finally the prosecution is fighting back. I literally heard, "Knock if you buck, knock if you buck." See, I'm a down
See?
pistol holder. Literally, they was literally about to squabble up. So anyway, right? They said you're not. So then the after call me, not call me after Mark Agnelli was like, "Yeah, I don't know what the defense want, no, what the prosecution wants." She jumped up and she was like, "I want those documents and
That's,
I want them now,
that's
please."
right.
They have the documents and they're refusing to hand them over because they want to ambush Cassie. They
Yeah.
want to make her look stupid on the stand. They want to have her break down. But more importantly, they're even defying Judge Aaron's court orders. And I wonder when Judge Aaron is going to notice that. You said that they were supposed to be there on the 27th and everything in, and now they're saying they didn't because they're working around the clock. But even if you're working, we even have paralegals now trying to check. Well, if you are, then where's the evidence? Are they going to rush in like this is like my cousin Vinny at the last minute? So anyway, Tinny was like, "I want the evidence and I want it now, please." That's exactly what she said verbatim. I said, "Yes, girl. You know I love when somebody drops in." It was like really courtroom shade, professional drama, but it was tense. Okay, so then there's more. Hold on, I got my notes. There we go.
Y'all, I'm letting her go. I'm letting her rock. Okay, I'm letting her rock because it's good.
Basically, there and tries to gaslight again. Talking about some, listen, trying to act like it's impossible for them to get it in a reasonable time. Your Honor, we've complied. We've complied with everything. And Maureen Comey, the prosecutor, was like, "Your Honor, they've given 4 exhibits." So oddly enough, Judge Aaron, and then they said, she said you cannot mark exhibits right, and that's to mark them is to enter them to the jury as evidence right before a cross-examination. That is So the judge steps in and he's like, "Listen, I'll rule on this as a matter of practicality, not just for this, but for every day, right?" Again, he talks about the 427 deadline. Mark Agnifilio gets up and starts like barking again. Yana, there's no precedence. But again, you have been shown to mislead before, so we can't believe the word you said. Yeah, check that on the ones and twos. So finally, the judge makes an odd ruling where he was like, "Okay, I'll rule on this at the end of the day. But in the meantime, for this case, for today with the thing, just give it to him right before cross-examination."
No,
And the prosecutor jumps up again, Maureen Comey, and she was like, "Your Honor, no. That is not enough time." But she says it more professionally. So then all of a sudden he snaps on her. He's like, "Well, I don't understand. If you knew that they were having exhibits and they only gave you 4, why is this just coming up now? Why didn't this come up before?" And I'm like, I think you're getting mad at the wrong person because they defied the order. And Maureen Comey is like, "Because I've been asking them for exhibits over and over again, and they've been telling me there were 0 exhibits, right? They've been telling me that there was 0 exhibits or they're coming. So he was like, still, you should have known. You should have told me. How are you getting mad at the person that's not really?" Greg Missouri, thank you so much for the super chat. Also, I'm going to give a shout out to Angel Dolcino. Thank you for the super chat. And also, Wendy Martin said, "Hey, Tisa, first time catching you live. Thanks for keeping us in the league." You're welcome, guys. You're welcome. Anyway, thank you guys. So that was going on, and then Comey says, so anyway, the judge asks again, "So what do you want, counselor?" And she said, "I want their evidence and I want it now." She pushed through the BS. She said, "I want their exhibits now, please." And she said no to Mark giving her the case law. She said she'll supply her own. Mark says there's no legal precedence. Maureen Comey is like, "Yeah, we'll check that." The judge cut off Mark Agnifilio and was like, "Yo, I thought we agreed that I would do this after trial. Why are we having an argument now?" Mark Agnifilio was like, "Oh, sorry, Your Honor. I guess I snatched defeat from the jaws of victory." Right? So then Mark Agnifilio was like, "The government can't do this, right? The government can't do this because we're the little guys. Sorry, guys, I'm in the rain, so the screen's going." He's like, "We're the little guys. We're the ones that Oh, Peace said, "Thank you for your thorough coverage." You're welcome, Peace. Thank you. He was like, "We're the ones. The government has the thing to prove, not us. So we shouldn't have to prove, right?" Sorry, I need a rain. Okay, there we go. My screen. She's like, "The government's the one that has the burden." Anyway, whatchamacallit? The girl was like, "Y'all." So Green Comey, the prosecutor, was like, "This is gamemanship. If they want to, and if they won't admit it within a reasonable amount of time, they should not be they should not be able to go. The judge then looked at the prosecutor and was like, "Why is this an issue?" And she said, literally, Maureen Comey in a nice way was like, "Because it is obvious this is an ambush." Again,
It's obvious this is an ambush. Okay, let's see something. All right, I can help out with this part now. Let's see. Nope. Sorry, y'all.
you guys better start showing some MF and respect. Stop testing me. Carla, I say that with love, but watch it. Like, literally, act like I'm a trick monkey, literally juggling and clapping to
Yeah,
entertain. Show some empathy. Pay attention. Show some empathy. Anyway, right?
yeah. This girl told Tisa, pay attention. You ain't got no sound. Pay attention. We're trying to tell you. She out there in the rain juggling paper, the phone, umbrella. Man, people trip.
Okay, listen. Okay. So anyway, okay, we got sound, right? Okay, sorry. Pissing me off. I'm really stressed out right here. He's talking about something. Pay attention. I say that with love. Anyway, right? Listen, you trying your beat. You appreciate you. Thank you so much, Caroline. Okay, so anyway, they went back to Cassie and the stuff about the Suge Knight incident. The fact that they packed up
Uh-oh.
guns. Biggie's best friend, bodyguard manager D Rock, and Diddy heard Suge Knight was down the hill. They Diddy left a freak off, packed up guns, all black, and
See?
went down to go handle Suge Knight. I wonder if Suge Knight is.
And Cassie was not in there when at that time. So no, she was not a co-conspirator of none of that. Okay? She wasn't.
Going to respond to that from the jailhouse calls. I don't understand why media didn't pick up on that, but I gave
Oh,
all the
she's not
exclusive and so talk
responded. I'm
about that
about to play
yesterday.
it.
The prosecution revisited that today. Also, Cassie had her two. Ooh, hold on, my umbrella is coming apart. Oh my God, I'm falling apart today. Also, Cassie had sorry guys. Also, Cassie, they give her two thumb drives. That was Cassie's photos and videos. The government had put them in hard drives and got them off of her old laptop computer and whatever. Cassie also said that Diddy made her ask the escorts whether they were police. This goes into the whole RICO
I can't.
organization. He gave Cassie a script to make sure that the escorts were not police officers, and Cassie had to do that. On top of that, like I said, the tensest thing that happened that made me run out here, right? Um, oh, sorry, Cassie also said that she did not fight back toward the end. Early on, she fought back. Sorry, the rain is getting heavy, y'all. She said early on, she said early on she did fight back, but then she realized that just made Diddy get even more violent, stronger, hurt her more.
Oh
They said whenever she
wow.
fought back, Diddy was surprised, shocked, more anger and frustration. If y'all want to know what Diddy, also Ray, thank you so much for the super chat. Listen, also, who asked it? Somebody asked a question about how was Diddy looking. Diddy came in looking smug. He thought, oh, sorry, he came in looking smug. He thought he had a good day yesterday. Thank you so much for the super chat. You said we love you, Tisa. He thought he had a good day yesterday. He came in looking smug, but Maureen Comey came in. Aliyah Morton said it sounds to me like your hand is covering. No, you guys, it's not the hand, it is the rain. But in any case, I'm trying my best to get close to you guys. It is the rain. It keeps coming down. Let me get back in the courtroom because it is coming down
Yeah.
right now. The phone's getting rained on. The sound is muffled.
All right, y'all. I'm gonna leave it right there. And so once she comes out again to give another update, then I'll be back also, as far as Tisa. Let me see what else. Let me see what's going on in that courtroom too. Well, she just told me, but she's back in there now, and I wants to know. All right, y'all. Thank y'all for joining me, and I appreciate all the love and stuff. And I will talk to y'all later. Okay. All right. Bye.